Okay, Tony, go ahead and give me a brief introduction on yourself, my friend, and what you're doing here at the McPherson Opera House.
Well, I'm singing here tonight, and I think show's at 7, but I'm a country singer, man. You know, my acoustic record's called Throwback, and that pretty much defines what I do. It's not, you know, when people say traditional country music, they oftentimes get this, they've got this preconceived notion that tradition means, you know, 1950s and 60s. And I love that music, but that's not necessarily what we mean. What we mean by throwback, or what I mean by throwback, is that simply it's a genre of country music where the artist goes back to the people and plays songs that really, hopefully, mean something and touch people's lives. And slice of reality as opposed to, you know, just ear candy, what I call ear candy. I mean, I think some of my songs are candy of the year, but they also have a message, you know. But anyway, and that's really what I'm all about. I mean, I'm just kind of a modern day troubadour, you know. Yeah. It's just that not many people are doing what I do and the way I do it like they used to way back when country music started in those late 60s, when it started to really roll as a genre, and a recognizable genre.
Well, how'd you get started doing country music? What was the spark to getting you into?
Well, I come from music, man. All my family were musicians, and bluegrass was what I grew up on pretty much. I mean, when I was real small, you know, I listened to bluegrass. I'm from the Appalachians, and you know, my dad played guitar, and all his brothers and sisters played instruments, you know. And we go to family reunions, and there would be, you know, bluegrass bands there playing, and country, you know, country music. And so I was around it. I grew up around it, and I was always writing stories and songs and poems. And it's kind of a natural progression. When I was 13, I decided to pick up that old guitar that was sitting by the mantel all those years. It used to belong to my grandfather, and I thought it was kind of interesting. You know, there were lots of other things to do. I mean, there's TV and sports and all that, but I just took an interest in guitar, and so I started playing it. And I still play it just as poorly today as I did back then, but, you know, it seems to have worked in songwriting, you know. But, no, I guess that's where, I guess when you grow up around it, it does say something for, you know, you're having a proclivity to do it. And my interest is in writing songs, creating those songs, you know, weaving spells and all that. That was always fascinating to me. So.
Now, you have a couple interesting guitars you brought with you this evening. Is there a history behind these? Well,
yeah, there is a history. It's only about 4 or 5 days, but, you know, we'll tell you. I'll give you the history on them. There's a buddy of mine who just bought a company out in California called Boulder Creek Guitars. And anyway, Boulder Creek is sort of innovative in their unique patent design of bracing systems, you know, and so my buddy called me up and said, hey, would you try out a couple of guitars, see what you think? And so I said, yeah, sure, just send them along. And so that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying them out. I mean, I have a Larrabee that is now in the repair shop because it looks like it's on its last, you know, string. It's not going to last much longer. So I thought it was a good opportunity to just try these out for them and see how they work. And, you know, so far so good. You know, I'm still in the trial period right now.
So talk to me about your influences.
Oh, well, let's see. How long do we have here? Let's see. I mean, my influences are, you know, in music, of course, all of the singer-songwriter names of the 60s and 70s. Not only country music, but popular music. You know, I mean, we're looking at Dan Fogelberg, Jim Croce, the Eagles, you know, Don Henley, Merle Haggard, Chris Christopherson, Willie Nelson. I mean, you know, the list is so far and wide. And then before that, I mean, I studied a lot of literature in my day. I've read probably more books than what's really good for a person, you know. And so I have a lot of influences in, you know, Dylan Thomas is a big influence of mine, just like he was Bob Dylan's influence, you know. So a lot of that, the literature, you know, that I studied, mostly romantic literature, and kind of bleeds over into that, you know, genre, I think, of music of any kind, because there are a lot of songs about love, so, you know, it's kind of a romantic topic, I guess, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's I have a pretty eclectic background in terms of what I like. I don't just stick with, country music is all I ever listen to. I listen to all kinds of music, with the exception of maybe one or two genres. But I find an appreciation for just about every kind of music that's recorded.
So sound checking in the beautiful McPherson Opera House. What do you think of this venue?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the acoustics are magnificent, and I guess it was built in the 1800s, right? 1880s.
Yep.
And we've been playing the opera houses all over the country, that are refurbished and 100 years or better older, and they're just fantastic venues to play because it's so vibey, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's just a lot of history here, artistic history, and a lot of audiences will sit in these seats, or these refurbished seats, I guess now.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said for playing these kinds of venues, and the venue itself kind of brings something else, an element out in the artist and the audience that isn't there in your typical dance club or bar scene or whatever. I mean, it's a very nice. They're very nice venues to play, and this one is just beautiful. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Talk to me about social networking, Facebook and Twitter. However you use these to market yourself.
I'd love to talk to you about it, but I know nothing about it. I mean, I'm truly a throwback.
That is awesome.
Well, I mean, not really. In this day and age, there's certainly this day and age necessitates, the Facebook, the Twitter, and these are phenomenal tools to use. But I mean, I just started my record label people just have been helping me, trying to get me up to par and teach me how to get on there and hit respond or comment or whatever. And anyway, and then there's the music fan page, but these are really new to my world. I don't know how much good it does. Part of me thinks it's not real. I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so there's a part of me that goes, I don't really know that these things are real or not. I mean, if there's real people on here, I know they talk to me and all that kind of stuff, but I often wonder, well, how good is this? And you see all those YouTube videos about how Facebook were a country, it'd be the third largest in population. I'm like, are you serious? I mean, is that? So, I mean, I don't know much about it. I know it's important, and I do get onto the Facebook deal, and I don't get onto my website very much because it's all sort of tied in together.
Yeah.
But I do try to look at Facebook once a day, just when I'm driving, when I'm on the road or whatever, and just see if anybody said hello or anybody hasn't. It's usually a relief because I don't have to get into responding, But I do appreciate those users out there and followers who use that as a medium, and I'm trying my best to get up to par.
Get your hands on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, but everybody talks about Kindle books, these books that you translate.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. I like to be able to actually read a book.
Pages that flip and they smell like wood, and ink and all that. And like I said, I'm just a throwback in that way. I mean, I love progressive art, and I love how art is constantly moving, culture and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like my music is progressive in a lot of ways, is avant-garde in the sense that, even though I'm a throwback, I'm writing new songs and fresh songs that sort of harken to those days, but they're new songs. I mean, it's fresh music, and it's crazy because I'll play a few songs from when I was growing up listening to music. And I was at a show the other day, and I played a Merle Haggard song. I think it was like Mama Tried or something like that.
That's cool.
And like a 17 or 18-year-old walked up and said, "Man, did you write that? That is awesome. I love that song." And I was like, "No, that song is like almost 30 years old now." "Are you serious?"
Are you serious?
Well, it's proof positive that those things sound, because they're timeless pieces, they sound just as fresh today as they did 30 years ago. And that's where my faith lies, is the fact that the kind of stuff I do is not out of date. It's just out of time right now with the mass commercial market. And I'm not sure how many people are tuned into that or clued into that beyond the age of 17 or 18, you know.
Yeah.
And so my hope is to bring music back to where it was when I was growing up, and to offer young folks and old folks alike an alternative to the mass commercial market and
That's cool.
filtered corporate image-driven music is what I call it. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you chatting with us today.
Well, absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
This has been fun. I enjoyed watching Soundcheck earlier. That was
oh, well, thank you.
That was very entertaining.
Let's hope I hold up through the show.
Yeah. Well, thank you.